Hello everyone, it's wonderful that you've joined me again to view my video. You can find my video on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at the Sita 1. My name is Sita. I have had over 30 years experience as a tarot reader, psychic tarot reader, and astrologer. I'm here to share my wisdom and guidance with you through the cards. I use these channeled interpretations to give you a little description of what can happen every day and what energies you should be aligning yourself to get through the challenges of the day. But before I continue with that, I would like to talk a little bit more about astrology. Now, I've talked about the planets, and I've talked about how astrology works, and I've talked a little bit about the lunation cycles, which we'll probably revisit because the full moon is coming up in about 2 weeks. We just had the new moon on the 16th. And this time I'm going to talk about the houses in astrology. Now, the astrological chart is a circle, so it's called a wheel. And that wheel is divided into sections, little pie-like pieces. Think of you're cutting a pie, but you're cutting a pie in 12 equal sections. And each section is called a house. It's approximately 30 degrees. And each house represents something different. And when we start with the houses, we start numbering from the first house and go counterclockwise, and we come back to the 12th house. And so what we're looking at here is a different theme for each house. The planets, when you were born, occupy these houses, not all the houses. And so they represent, they put their energy there into the house, and the house is the theme of where they're going to work, whatever issue it is or whatever lesson that needs to be worked out. So we'll start with the first house, and the first house is actually where your ascendant is. So when the sun was rising on the day you were born, that's why the time is so particularly important to astrologers, because it can define, the ascendant will change according to the time. So your ascendant could change drastically if you don't have an exact time of birth. But that shouldn't stop you from getting a chart. You can always say 12 noon for whatever place you were born, and that's important too, because that will change the ascendant. So we'll change the ascendant and the moon and the sun, because these are the faster moving planets. So the first house is you. It's the self, it's the personality, it's what you're projecting into the world. And as you know, especially if you studied any psychology, you know that what you project is not exactly what's inside you, but it's the part of you that projects into the world, and also it's your protection from being too vulnerable or being hurt by others or society. The second house is about your values. So these are your material possessions. It's about your personal finances. So what you look for in life, is it money? Is it objects that you find beautiful? Clothes, all those things that will define you in the second house. The third house is about short trips and communication and your siblings, so those who are you're close to in your family. The fourth house is your home. So this is where your comfort zone is, and how you decorate your home and what you find appealing in your home is defined by this house and whatever planets or asteroids that could be occupying that house. The fifth house is about creativity. It's also about children and short-term romance. So it's relationship, but it's not the long-term relationships. The sixth house is about health. It's about service to others, and it's about taking care of the little things in your life. The seventh house is the long-term relationships. Now that could be a partnership, it could be a business partnership or a long-term friend, or it could be a deeper, more intimate relationship. The eighth house is the deep house of your subconscious. It's also other people's money. So consider if you're looking for a bank loan, this house is going to be affected, and any transits there will affect your ability to secure financing. And it's about sexuality also. The ninth house is about long-term trips. It's also the place of your philosophical pursuits and academic pursuits. The 10th house is about your career and your reputation, and it sits high on the chart. So you're really out there in your career and people are noticing you and interacting with you, and that's why the 10th house is the house of your reputation and career. The 11th house is about community, about friendships, but the friendships that you can get through working, but also your volunteer efforts, and it's about hopes and wishes. And the final house, the 12th house, is the house of secrets, and these are hidden things that people don't really understand about you or know about you, and things that are brought into this lifetime from past lifetimes. So that's how the houses work. Now, when you're born, the time, the date, the place that you were born is going to affect these houses. How big the houses are, they don't each have to be equal 30 degrees, and what planets are in each of the houses and the signs those planets occupy. So you can see the level of depth in astrology and why it's so useful to learn more about yourself. So if you're really intrigued, get a basic birth chart done and start to look at the houses and research the planets and find out a little bit more about you. This reading is from October 25th to the 31st, All Hallows Eve, or Samhain, which is the Celtic New Year. Let's start with our first card. So here we have the Fool. And the Fool is about adventure. It's about taking a risk. It's about stepping out into the unknown, not knowing exactly where you're going, but you have a general idea that change is needed. So you're using your trust and faith in yourself and your experiences and the universe to move you forward. And it's more like, let's see what's going to happen and deal with the consequences later. For Monday, it's the 10 of Coins. Now, the 10 of Coins has to do with the result of your hard work. You could be receiving a large sum of money, but you could also be just understanding in the environment that you've created long-term security for yourself, your family, and those who are important around you. And those connections are long-term. Our next card is the Five of Swords. So there might be some irritations in the environment and you want to lash out, but just hold your tongue for a while. You'll see that things will work out. Changes in the air, a lot is being said, and people aren't really thinking about the consequences of their words, so don't join in with them. Relax, step back, and just observe what's going on. Our next card is the Knight of Coins, and the Knight of Coins brings news, practical news about money. If you've set a goal or you're waiting for a message about some financial transaction, or you're starting a new project at work or at home, it's going to take some time and patience, but the news you get will be something that you can work with and will fulfill your long-term goals. So just have patience. The next one is the Five of Wands, and I always call that the decluttering card. It's time to get there, throw out what you don't want, reorganize your things. It will usher in wonderful, new, vibrant energy that will inspire you. Our next one for Friday is the Page of Swords. So here we're talking about communication, and there might be a lot of messages floating around out there and you don't know what to do first. You don't know which emails to return first or where to research first, but that's okay. Write down the ideas, try to make a schedule, and then respond. But that information will come in handy later. And the last card for Samhain, very interesting, it's the Hangman. So time to relax, time to let go, time to just enjoy the energy of the day. Samhain is a very, very important time in the year, and it's about connecting with loved ones and the ancestors. They say that at that time the veils are thin, so therefore you can speak to your ancestors and remember that those ancestors laid out a path for you and brought you knowledge and an easier life. So thank them for their contribution. So please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my videos on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And you can find daily posts on Instagram. So I hope that you really enjoy the energies of this week and enjoy whatever Halloween celebration you have or don't have. Take care and see you next week.